back in session for most, and that means school sports are gearing up.
Yes, helmets, though, always required, but concussion injuries are still common. And right now, Lauren McDonald is with the experts to show us what parents need to watch out for.
Hey guys, good morning. School is back in session. That means sports are back in session. And this morning we are talking all about brain health here at Performance Pediatrics with Dr. Stevens. You're the guru when it comes to the noggin, right?
Right.
So a concussion. There's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to concussions. So tell me, what is a concussion and what isn't a concussion?
Okay, to start with, you're right, there's a lot of misconception. The information on concussions has really mushroomed over the last 5 or so years. Everybody talks about concussions. You see, there's a movie about concussions. So everybody thinks, well, we really know what it is. And in its simplest form, it's a traumatic brain injury.
Right.
But it's different from other brain injuries in that it often won't show up on any kind of CAT scan or MRI. And the symptoms are very difficult to detect sometimes.
Right.
So the common expectation is if I hit my head and I lost consciousness or I threw up, then I had a concussion. And that's the only thing that a concussion is, when in fact it's much, much more than that.
Right, exactly. And it can affect you long term, right?
It can, yes. One of the things we see is people that have had a concussion maybe years ago in childhood, and now it can be affecting how they think, their concentration, their energy level. We worked with a college student, and he was having difficulty doing well on tests as he got higher and higher in his academic program. And it turns out that a concussion he had years before was really affecting his ability to process information and his ability to manage stress.
And here at Performance Pediatrics, you guys are able to look at somebody's head.
Yes.
And tell if they've ever had a concussion in their life.
Yes.
And
yes.
That's what we're going to do this morning?
Yes, absolutely.
So you guys are going to put me in this machine that you have. What is it called?
Kinetisense.
Okay, so I'm going to go in there and you guys are going to tell me what's wrong with my brain, right? Or if there's
right.
ever been anything wrong with my brain.
Right.
And that's really what you guys do here.
Yes, absolutely.
And you work with schools a lot?
We do work with a lot of schools. Right now we currently have about 10 to 12 schools that are in our what we call the Beyond the Bump program. So we'll do free baselines and assessments. If a kid is participating in a sporting activity and they hit their head and they're not sure, they can come in and we'll assess them, determine if they have a concussion, and then take them through the legally required steps for returning to play, which is important, and we'll talk about later.
Right, we'll talk about that later on in the morning. A lot of rules in Colorado when it comes to concussions as far as schools or really any types of sports. Guys, we're learning all about your brain this morning. I'm going to jump into this machine and we're going to take a look at my brain. I'm a little worried, a little nervous about that, but it's going to be a lot of fun. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. That machine looks really interesting.
It is. It's scary how something can have such a long-term effect.
Yeah, now I'm starting to wonder. I mean, I played sports.
We should get scanned.
We should go, Craig. We should really go. Right now, a concussion is a mild brain injury, but if not treated properly, can cause serious head trauma.
With school sports gearing back up, it's important that parents know the signs and symptoms of a concussion. So right now, let's go ahead and check on Lauren McDonald as she has tips to keep your children safe.
Hey guys, good morning. We are here at Performance Pediatrics talking about brain health. To my knowledge, I have never had a concussion, but we're about to really find out if I've ever had a concussion here at Kinetisense. And I'm with Ben. Ben, you are the concussion tester, right?
That is correct. The concussion care manager.
Term. Yes.
That's correct.
Okay, so we're going to do some tests right now. Kind of explain to me what's going to go on.
So we're going to do a quick 20-second test, which is what we call a BESS test, which is Balance Error Scoring System. We can determine the function of your brain based on posture and balance, and this test helps us quantify errors that students and athletes make when they've hit their head.
Okay. So we'll see if I've hit my head.
We're going to find out.
All right, so what do I need to do here?
So first thing I want you to do is put your feet together so that they're touching.
Okay.
And put your hands on your hips. Very good. And look straight forward for me. And when I say go, I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Go.
Am I allowed to talk?
You are, if you would like. There's certain postural oscillations that detect brain function, and when we've hit our head and have had a concussion, those oscillations can indicate a larger problem.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost finished, about 15 seconds.
I'm very relaxed, to be honest with you.
Good, you can relax there. That was it. That was that simple. You can open your eyes and relax.
Okay, we're going to do the results after, but there's another test, right, that we're going to take?
That is correct. So now, if you don't mind, see that blue foam block?
Yes.
Grab that blue foam block and put that on those yellow feet for me.
Okay.
And you're going to jump up there. We're going to do the exact same test again, but on this foam block. You'll notice this is a little bit harder.
Okay. I do a lot of yoga. So I try to keep balance.
We're going to find out. Here we go. Have those feet touching.
Okay.
Put your hands on your hips and close your eyes.
This is harder. I'm trying to just channel my namaste zen.
You're doing great. Almost finished. About 5 seconds left. Very nice. Relax.
Okay.
That's number 2. And then, of course, depending on the severity of a concussion or the screening, we can do more tests that get progressively more difficult.
Let's do one more hard one.
Let's do it.
It's quick, right?
It is. 20 seconds. So what I want you to do is I want you to stand up there, and I want you to stand on one leg.
Okay.
Good. Yep, look straight forward. Close your eyes. Those legs cannot touch.
I really wish that I would have used my other foot. Are we almost done?
You're almost done. You have about 12 seconds left.
Okay. I'm failing at this test, I already know.
Good and relax. Yeah, that's
Okay.
much more difficult than
It
it
is.
looks, isn't
It
it?
is.
Yes. And that we use these tests as a measurement of brain function because our brain is what manages all the sensory integration and allows us to balance.
Right.
So when we see certain things, we can determine how bad or severe of a concussion that you've had or where your brain function is.
Very cool. All right, guys, we're going to check out my results coming up here in a little bit. You can look forward to that. Performance Pediatrics, they are making sure that your brain is very healthy. Hopefully mine is. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Lauren. We hope so too.
What's the result? We didn't see the results.
I know, that's right. 6:52 right now. Here, concussion may be caused by a blow, a bump, or jolt to the head by any fall or hit that jars the brain.
Yes, concussions can be common for kids playing contact sports, but so it's important that you actually know how to care for such an injury. And right now, Lauren McDonald is with some experts giving us tips on concussion care.
Hey guys, we have been at Performance Pediatrics all morning long talking about brain health and concussion precautions, concussion safety, here with Dr. Stevens and Ben. And I actually was put to the test in the last segment. Ben, what are the results? Because you were giving me looks like it wasn't that great.
Well, you know, it's not terrible, but you're probably in about the 30th percentile. We've got a pretty good posterior lean here, and if we look really carefully, a little bit of a head tilt, which can indicate some postural problems that need to be looked at. So, yeah, it's not terrible, but it's not great. Somewhere along the line, you've probably hit your head.
Yeah, so possibly I could have had a concussion in the past.
More than likely, correct. And when you hit your head, you end up with what's called a functional maladaptation. And so that maladaptation then becomes a pattern that your brain just gets very used to. And we can determine, you know, if you've hit your head based on how you're standing and what your balance looks like.
Yeah, very cool. So, people like me that have this issue, how can they overcome this stuff?
Well, a couple of things. First, we really like to emphasize the importance of screening. So we want people to come in and do this neurophysical screening that you did, and also a neurocognitive screening, so we can tell what your brain function is like, and probably determine if you've had a previous knock on the head like you had,
Right.
or a concussion.
Right.
And then from that point, there's also some misperception that concussions can't be rehabilitated. And they absolutely can.
Right.
We do physical and mental training that helps people recover, so then your brain can function as it's intended to. You're not trying to compensate for a knock on the head. You're not trying to make up for emotional difficulties or academic difficulties or educational athletic difficulties.
Right. So if your brain has had to make a physical adaptation, that can create injuries, right? That'll create injuries
Right.
in a different part of the body because you're trying to overcompensate, right?
Right. And people may be very tired, or they may be easily stressed out, or they may not do well on tests, or maybe they can't remember their shopping list. All those things can be the result of a concussion, even one that happened years ago.
Right, and you don't think about it, but your brain controls every part of your body, everything. So if somebody thinks that they've had a concussion, they just need to come get screened. That's
Absolutely.
what you stress.
Yes.
You guys also work a lot with the schools. Sports are gearing up, so tell me about the BUMP program you have, Ben, and what that is.
We have a Beyond the Bump program that schools enroll in, and what that means is we want kids that have been injured to come in and get screened and looked at, and that's free. If the school's enrolled, they can come in, make an appointment, and get screened. Because we want to give incentives to coaches and parents and teachers, administrators, that if you're in doubt, come get checked out. We can get you in quickly, we can get you assessed, and we can make a diagnosis if that's necessary. We don't want kids running around out there that have had unresolved concussions. So it's free to those schools, it's free to the school, and it's worked out really well this year.
You don't want kids out there like me running around, right? In the 30th percentile. I need to bring it up a notch. Real quick though, what percentile are most people in?
Well, you know, that the data is still out, but if you've got a pretty healthy brain, you should be in the 70th or 80th percentile. Those that have hit their head and have functional maladaptations are going to be well below the 50th.
All right, well, looks like I got some work to do. Hopefully you guys can give me a tips. Thank you so much for having us out this morning. Learned so much. Where can people look you up if they want to get more information?
They can find us at Performance Pediatrics.
All right, very cool. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Well, that's good to know for parents, especially kids in sports.
Definitely.
You worry about the contact and what's going on, but boy, there you go.
I want to go get checked out myself. 7:27 right now.